Here's my example. They're building a $2,031,000 helicopter hangar, 3 acres under the roof, according to the Commissioner's Court, the documents that I've gotten from them. And they called it Starflight. This is just a microcosm of the problem I'm talking about. They called it Starflight, but the 2 new helicopters are going to be used by the Sheriff's Department for surveillance. We have Margot Frazier, the sheriff, on tape, and you'll see that tonight again, saying that yes, they're going to be for surveillance, but then it says nowhere in the documents people voted for the bond package. And I know that this is local, whereas your state. Just the point I'm making is that the road to hell is paved with good intentions over and over. They'll tell us it's for this, and then we'll say, great, we're for it. You think it's reasonable because that's what you believe. Then they put in somebody else, and they go along with what it was really set up for. That's my only point.
Well, again, this is going to be a state, city, capital metro type of operation. I don't see the federal government having any type of authority to take over the center and use it for something different. The Texas Department of Transportation is not a law enforcement agency. We have no authority to enforce the law, and that's not our interest. Our interest is in making sure that the transportation system in Austin and in the state of Texas is safe and efficient and effective. And with Interstate 35 being a major NAFTA corridor, we're going to see more and more traffic on this road, and it's, for better or worse, it's Austin's main street. And anything we can do to facilitate the flow of traffic, that's what we're trying to do. And we're at an age now where we're able to use quite a bit of high technology and give the motorist a good deal of information that he or she may not have had in the past before they get into a situation where they're just stuck in traffic.
Well, it sounds very reasonable to me. Just 3 years ago, I wasn't the way I am now, but when you read the Statesman and they tell you what a good idea it is in the May 10th Metro and State, it's not a matter of when a chemical or biological attack's happening or not. The Statesman's exact quote was in the May 10th Metro and State was, it's not a question of will it happen, but when it happens. Then you find out that secret military teams have been dispersed all over the country. And again, I had the police chief of San Antonio saying this. I have articles from around the country. They crashed a helicopter in Houston. The media totally covered it up. And you have this whole move going on. And the Statesman also wrote that in Chicago and other cities, the Marines and Delta are practicing taking over police stations, water facilities, the communication systems. Now, people could say, well, that's in case terrorists take it over. Right. But I just want y'all to know, and this is in the media, but they're telling us how wonderful it is, that secret military teams are practicing taking over communication, transportation, water, energy, and police departments mainly. And again, I don't want to, get off into some conspiracies. This is a conspiracy. There's a lot of stuff that people aren't paying attention to, and I just see Germany as the leader of cameras, and I see Britain as the leader of cameras. And Germany, just 2 months ago, passed a law, unanimously almost, to where they can actually bug homes and actually put cameras in homes, but politicians and psychiatrists and lobbyists are exempt. And that's in Germany, in good old Deutschland. And we know they're the home of Big Brother.
Well, we're not into that. We're not into getting into your house or listening or seeing anything that goes on into your house.
At least not 1998.
Not at this point.
2005.
Our dealing with the federal government has always been basically through the Federal Highway Administration, and our interest has always been design, capacity, safety.
Was it 260-something billion just got passed, or?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the highway bill?
Yeah. Big one, huh?
Yeah, that's going to mean some additional money for Texas.
Well, I tell you, I like big roads. I'm a car enthusiast, so I love it.
Yeah, well, that was good news for us, because we ought to get probably somewhere in the neighborhood of an additional $713 million a year in this state, which we've been giving away more money than we've been getting back. So this is a.
I would think Texas being the most second populous state, I think we should get more than 700 million.
713 probably.
713.
Overall, it'll be about $2 billion over the course of the bill. But that's what it is every year. It'll be about 7.
Oh, every year.
Yeah. So it's a good deal for us.
Is the bill for 4 years?
6 years.
6 years. Oh, now I see. We're visiting with Mr. Hurt. He is the head public information officer in Central Texas, or for all of Texas?
For the Austin District.
Austin District.
Central Texas.
Now, you said earlier that the cameras are mainly going to be at the main intersections and mixed masters and areas where congestion generally tends to be, or where wrecks happen more often. How many cameras do you think Austin will get over the next 6 years?
Well, I think over the period of 6 years, it will probably number into close to 100 or so. We'll put 183, the new additions to 183 were built with this in mind. So that's where you'll see it first. We've got the pull boxes where we can pull the cables already in place and we don't have to retrofit the road. So you see that. You'll see some on 183 as time goes on. You'll see additional roadways like Ben White, possibly 71. And as the freeway facilities are expanded east of the interstate towards the airport, I'm sure you'll see it on there as well.
You talked about the over 700 million and the 2 billion numbers that Texas will be getting over the next 6 years as part of this new transportation bill. Is any of that money going for cameras?
Well, no, not at this point. The money that was just passed by the transportation bill doesn't have any place to go right now. As far as, I mean, it's not designated for anything.
So actually,
that will be up to the Transportation Commission as they fund long-term projects to decide where that money is going to be spent.
Does the federal government encourage cameras?
Well, you mean like for traffic management?
Yes.
Yeah, I would think that all of us do as far as traffic management goes, because it's the quickest way to determine what's going on in a roadway. You don't have to wait for a police car, an ambulance to get there, or a fire truck. So in the length of time it takes to punch up a button, you know what's happening on the roadway.
That way you can give your people the correct information.
Right.
But is the 700 million and the 2 billion over the next 6 years, is that going to help y'all free up other funds to build y'all's new command center, or what would you call it?
Well, the traffic management center is going to be paid for jointly through the city, the county, the state, all of us that are participating in it. The money from the transportation bill, we hope, will go more towards constructing and maintaining the infrastructure, and that includes everything from multimodal projects like bicycle trails, HOV lanes, as well as highway construction itself. It's going to have its fingers in a lot of pies before it's all over.
Basically, if you see a tower or a structure with a question mark wire, which
Right.
I've seen many of, that is the side of a future camera.
That's correct. That's where we're going to be putting a monitoring camera, and 183 is where you see most of them right now.
And every eighth of a mile in the key areas?
Well, that's what they've typically been like in Houston and San Antonio. I think ultimately we'll probably get to somewhere like that in this district, but that not right off the bat.
But again, Texas has no plans in the future to like California, put cameras in to ticket people.
No, not at this point. What happens down the road, that's a law enforcement issue, but as far as the Department of Transportation goes, that is not our plan or our function.
How do y'all work with the DPS?
Well, we work very closely with the DPS because it is the state law enforcement agency as far as patrolling the highways. Once you get outside the city limits, if you have an accident or traffic control or traffic tickets or whatever, that's the responsibility of the Department of Public Safety.